Hello! It is the final video of the semester, which is super exciting. You won't have to see this face anymore, which is probably a good thing for some of you. Um, but this is really an opportunity for me at the end of the semester to say a couple of things. And it's an exciting time because you've reached the end. So kudos to you for making it through another semester. It's an exciting time because hopefully through this course, you've gained a better understanding of really a whole lot of different agricultural and food issues that exist. Um, Hopefully, you have a better understanding of just how reaching agriculture is. So, I find that a lot of students come into the semester and they don't realize all of the different ways in which agriculture influences really several facets within different types of industries. So hopefully you have a better understanding and appreciation for agriculture and the different things that happen within the agricultural industry. The other thing that I really hope that you gain from this course is this idea that you really should look at different perspectives. So I'll give you a little backstory. So I was raised in rural Idaho on a farm, and we had very strong beliefs, very strong morals, very strong values. And throughout my childhood, those things were never tested. I was always surrounded around people who had similar ideas, similar mindsets. And I just thought that was the way it was. I didn't need research to back up my thoughts. I didn't need to go out and educate myself about the other side of the issue because I just didn't need to. And I found through my college education that that's kind of a silly way to go through life. That even though your opinion may not change, I may have a specific opinion about how I feel related to GMOs going into that conversation. But having researched it and really know what both sides of the issue are, I find that the conversations that you have with people are usually more productive because you can come at it with this mindset of, here's how I feel about the issue, but I've done research and can kind of understand both sides of the issue. I may not necessarily agree, but at least I have had the opportunity to explore it. And I find more and more these days with social media and people that use their Facebook feed or whatever to find the news of the day and how they will just read the title, and the title will say something like food outbreak kills so many people, and they don't take the time to actually go in and read about that specific food outbreak, if it's a common food illness, if it's isolated to a certain area, if it's even in this country. And then you find those people going out and telling their friends, did you hear? Did you know? And they didn't even take the time to read about the issue and really educate themselves on it. And so I hope, one of my biggest hopes from this course is that you take away this idea that there are a lot of different issues out there. Food issues, agricultural issues, but also issues outside of that. That when you're approached with those types of issues, you take the time to educate yourself and you take the time to read the information that supports that specific issue, and you take the time to see if you can find some research that may reject that issue. And then from that, hopefully you can go in and formulate an educated decision based on that specific topic. And you may even find in those things that you can't come to a conclusion. I found a lot of you throughout this semester in your discussion board saying, I can see both sides of the issues and I support GMOs, but I also reject them for different reasons that I hadn't really thought about. And so I hope that you come out with this renewed perspective that, there's a lot of value in looking at both sides of an issue and then trying to formulate opinion that's educated so that when you go and have a conversation with your friends, your spouse, your parents, whoever it may be, that you can actually have that conversation in a way that is educated, is based on what your research tells you, and isn't just well, I feel this way and that's why. You'll most of you will remember that GMO Jimmy Kimmel video. Well, GMOs are bad, but I can't tell you why. So hopefully you walk away with this renewed perspective on how to approach these types of issues. And then the other thing that I want you to walk away with is you don't have to take a stand on all of these issues right out of the gate. So for me, it's been a lifestyle change, but it's been a very slow progressional life change. I didn't see all of these issues and think, oh my gosh, I need to have chickens in my backyard. I need to grow my own vegetables in my garden. And I need to no longer buy fish and make sure that all of my products that I buy from the store don't have GMOs. And I need to have bees in my backyard and be a beekeeper. It wasn't overnight, I need to do all of these things. For me, it was a slow progression. Growing up on a farm, like growing my own food, that's always been something that I've done. But I've only had bees for the last 3 years. So that was a slow progression of I've learned about this issue. I feel fairly educated about it. And now my small impact on that issue is I'm going to try being a beekeeper. And that's had a lot of learning curves with that. So taking small steps, I used to consume a ton of meat. I mean, growing up on a farm, we butchered our own animals, and that was every night. It was meat, potatoes, vegetables. Vegetables. Now I don't raise my own beef. So when I go to the grocery store, knowing the impact that livestock have and the amount of water that it takes, I try to reduce the amount that I'm buying at the grocery store. I'm not at a point yet where I've said, yeah, I want to go completely away from consuming meat, but I do recognize the issues that are related to that. So I think it's taking small steps. It's not you have to conquer the world all at once, and then you have to decide what issues actually matter most to you and what little small things you can do throughout the way to really make a difference. And know that those little things do make a difference. So for me, I hope that through this course, you feel better educated about food systems, agriculture, really how all-encompassing that is. I hope you have a greater appreciation for the farmers in your life and the things that they're trying to do to sustainably produce food and get food on our plates. That's a pretty big, important job. So you've seen the stickers, hug a farmer or thank a farmer. I think that's important to remember. And I think that my biggest hope is that you come away with a new perspective and a way in which you go about researching these issues and really coming down to what is the truth and what do I believe. So the final thing I'll leave you with is when I was a Peace Corps volunteer living in a developing country, food was not readily available. And something that I always remind myself of, especially at the end of the semester, is really we have a plethora of food options. We, for the most part, don't concern ourselves with where our food is coming from, which is a blessing and a curse. We really don't concern ourselves too much with where our next meal is going to come from, because food is so cheap, and for some of the foods that we consume, there's quite a lot of calories that are with those foods. So we don't have to worry about that. And I think that in and of itself, like I said, is a blessing and a curse. But it's a reminder that we have food on our plates. We don't have to worry about those kinds of things that developing countries worry about. And with that, I still believe that we do have one of the safest food supplies in the world. when I lived in a developing country, the way in which food was stored, the way in which it was produced, would probably scare some people when you compare that to some of our American standards. So I think it's an important reminder to have that kind of in the back of your mind, but to still know that you need to be aware of all of these issues and really work through what issues are the most important to you and how you can make those small differences. So with that, I want to thank you all for a great semester. I've enjoyed teaching the material with you. I've enjoyed learning through you and watching you glean information from different topics and get excited about different things that you may have never thought you would get excited about. I hope that you all have a wonderful winter break. And for those of you that are coming back in the spring semester to finish up your degree, best of luck. For those of you that this is the end and you're either going on to find that fantastic job or you're transferring on to another institution, best of luck to you. I'm glad that I got to spend a very short time with you, 16 weeks, to go through this subject matter, but to also play some kind of role, hopefully, in your future food decisions. So have a wonderful winter break. Again, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck.